Hi guys, Tim here doing another military history video for you today, and this one will be on Dunkirk and then later on Operation Dynamo, which is part of Dunkirk. Now Dunkirk was a big German invasion plan to knock out France and later on in the year knock out Britain from the war. Now the Germans did this on the 10th of May 1940 by their blitzkrieg tactics of what they had done to Poland a year before. But when the Germans invaded Luxembourg, Holland, not in that order, but Luxembourg, Holland, Belgium, they got to France, and there was this big stretch of fortified defences called the Maginot Line, invented in about the 1930s. By a guy called Henri Maginot, and there were a good amount. There was a lot of roughly a million, not a million, sorry, roughly a good 7,000 French defending the Maginot Line, with one Scottish British infantry division, the 51st Highland Division, there. To kind of just stop the German advance, which basically the Germans really did was just go right around it, because there was this stretch of forest in the mid. Because there was one part of the Maginot Line here, forest, and then a second stretch here. Now the panzers just went right through the forest, because the British and the French didn't really know that the German panzer tanks would actually be able to go through the fixed forest, which they did, and then just went right around it. So when the French was fleeing from the two Maginot Lines, the panzers split up, cut around, and then trapped the fleeing British army and the French, or the Free French, in this little pocket known as Dunkirk. It is the beaches of Dunkirk. The shore, the beaches of Dunkirk pocket. And now what they had actually forgotten is the British 51st Highlanders Scottish Division, which was still trying to defend the Maginot Line. Because later they got they retreated back to their secondary defensive line again. They had to defend there. Then the British Highland 51st Infantry Division, the Highlanders, were stretched back to a village which is right around down here on the map, called what was it called? Abbeville. Abbeville, around here. Which there was a big stretch of coast, massive great cliff down there, which they had to haul themselves down by means of their Lee Enfield rifle slings. Just twine them together and make a long stretch of rope to get down a good 90 foot, about 70 or 90 foot cliffs of that bit of that little shore there. And that was at a place called I can't remember the name now. It will come to me later on, probably, hopefully. But yeah, that was from the 10th of May 1940 to around the 15th, 16th, 17th of May 1940, where the main British expeditionary force, which was sent there to stop the Germans anyway, to stop the Germans, which failed, of course, and the Free French, or French army, so I like to call them, and the trained British army was stopped and held at the Dunkirk pocket, the beaches of Dunkirk. Now Hitler's panzer divisions were really there to wreak havoc, but when the British and the French got to Dunkirk, some reason which we still don't know today is Hitler ordered those panzers divisions just to stop and halt. Well, from what I can been reading up and understand is my perspective of it is Hermann Goring, commander of the Luftwaffe, wanted to send in his Stukas and Messerschmitts, mainly the Stukas, because every half an hour on that beach, the British and the French, mainly the British, would hear the and the explosion of a bomb. Every half an hour, Stuka will drop and come down for them. That was frightening. Every half an hour. But then, whilst that was going on, there was the British, the RAF, of course, the Royal Air Force, defending from the German Messerschmitts, ME-109s and B.E.F 109s at the top here, circling and trying to defend the British on the ground at Dunkirk. So yeah, when they were actually at Dunkirk, they got there. They fled to Dunkirk beaches and got there. And arrived on the 26th of May 1940, and Operation Dynamo, the British evacuation. So basically what happened is the British Navy didn't want to get ashore because the tide was too out, and if they'd got there they would be stranded and stuck, so the Germans could shell them, or the Messerschmitts will come, or the Stukas will come down and bomb, which they did as they were fleeing off, as they were, taking the British troops away. So what they did is, whilst the Royal Navy was out there somewhere on the coast, they requisitioned or took over these boats, these little fishing vessels, little tugboats called the Little Ships of Dunkirk. Now, they were they were taken off the actual French civilians, which were at Dover and Portsmouth area of mainly Portsmouth and Dover. But of course there were some willing volunteers who would actually sign up to help their soldiers out. Some of them can be sons or brothers of some person there. So yeah, as they were coming ashore, now a lot of people don't think is the little ships of Dunkirk didn't take them back home. They actually transported them off the beach to the nearest naval craft, just a little bit. So yeah, and the reason why I've got this 303 British round is because I don't have anything else related to Dunkirk apart from a 1940, because 1940 of course was the year of Dunkirk, round. So yeah, that was really it, 1940. You never know, this could have been a unfired round, and don't worry, it's not lethal, because I know it's unfired because the primer hasn't been hit, but still it's deactivated. You never know, this could have been carried by any one of the British troops who were lying face down at Dunkirk, feeling so sorry for themselves. So yeah, so really the Germans had invaded Dunkirk from the 10th of May 1940 to the 25th, and from all that, from the 11th, 12th, 13th and all that way, they were pushing through and pushing back in that little pocket of Dunkirk, of the Dunkirk beaches, pushing back the French and the British armies. So yeah, Dunkirk beaches found themselves in a lot of trouble by the 380,000 men who were evacuated, British, who were evacuated from Dunkirk. Yep, 380,000 men were evacuated from Dunkirk pocket, or the beaches of Dunkirk, and it lasted from the 26th of June, 26th of May to June 4th, 1940. So see you guys. Bye.